So in the last couple of videos I made in the last month or so, I've talked about delving into my own personal mental health issues, and I'm going to take the time to do that right now, although I feel like I've been stalling all day, finding other things to do rather than to do this. A big reason I want to do this is to help prevent the stigmatization of mental health issues and of therapy in general. I'm a big advocate of therapy, being a therapist and having been in therapy a bunch of times. I haven't really been into self disclosure in a long time. I disclose a little bit in classes and I throw little jokes around and little hints as to my history or issues that I've been in therapy for. But I haven't really divulged a lot of my history in recent years, mostly because it was a big part of my life for a long time. I talked about it a lot. I went to therapy a number of times. I would talk pretty openly to people, even my clients, about some of my history, and I got some advice at one point, that isn't always the best route to take, and I'm a professional now, and I have some level of respect as a professional, as an expert, and I don't need to keep going into my personal history. But I'm gonna kind of put that aside today and just discuss diagnosis a little bit and some of the things that have affected me. So I've said in class once or twice that I was pretty much raised to be a miserable person, and I kind of believe that, and that's my perception. My perception of my parents were that they were pretty miserable in their lives. You know, during the time that they were raising me, I guess, and that I learned that generally my default kind of mood is kind of a miserable mood. Um, I have been diagnosed with depression in my history. A long time ago, I was diagnosed with depression. I was given antidepressants for a short period. I didn't like them. I eventually, shortly after being prescribed them, stopped taking them and have done other things that I'm going to address in other videos probably. I'm going to talk about at some point what has helped me. So I have been diagnosed with depression. I've actually, and this is hard to say on a video, and I might have to think twice before publishing this, but I've had suicide attempts in my history. Um, I've had a substance abuse diagnosis in my history, or not even substance abuse. I'm sorry, that would be minimizing. I had an addiction or a substance. Today, it's called substance use disorder, and it would have been rated as severe. Um, Most people just call it an addiction. So I had an addiction in my history, um, and I guess that's probably it, or probably maybe a number of addictions actually. People have thrown that around. So that's I guess, a little bit of my history. I guess part of the reason I'm saying this is because I've come a long way since then. I went back to college and I've gotten to where I am today, and I don't always share that. And I guess people look at me and they think I'm relatively normal, although I try to shatter that illusion as much as I can in class and in therapy and outside of everywhere, I guess. But I don't know what else to say about this today. I just kind of wanted to share that mental health diagnosis isn't as rare as people think. As I said in the last video, we're only 17% of the people, I think it was 1,000 people in a 35-year study, didn't get a diagnosis at some point, and the most common diagnoses were substance abuse, depression, and anxiety. So I guess that's pretty much all I have for today, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned, I guess.